Hello friends, welcome to this video. This is going to be a little bit of a different video, but I wanted to try it. I just got showered, I let my hair dry, just air dry, and we're going to get ready. But while I get ready, I'm going to talk about season 2 of Disney's Intertwined. Now I don't know how to say the original name of Intertwined, that's the English version of it, but it originates from Argentina. And so it's a Spanish show, you know, the original language is in Spanish, it's just dubbed in English for us. Yeah, I took 4 years of Spanish, did me nothing. It's fine. So season 2 recently came out. This was so anticipated for me. I loved this show. I originally found it before it even came out, but then I kind of forgot about it, and then I watched it in February of 2021 when a whirlwind of stuff was going on for me. So it was like this one moment of happiness for me amongst the tornado, and I just like clung on to it. I loved it. And I was so ready for season 2 after that cliffhanger. You know when you suddenly just like can't think of what you're even doing? That's what I was going to do. But we got season 2 just the other week, and I have now watched it through twice. I've watched season 1, rewatched it 5 times, so just catching up here. Season 2. My biggest complaint with season 2 is that it was only 7 episodes, whereas season 1 was 10 episodes, but it's fine. Now, season 2 picks up exactly where season 1 left off. Even, I'd say, a few moments before. Just so we could get some background on some things. Before I continue, I should say spoilers. There's going to be spoilers for anything season 2 and just Intertwined in general. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it first and come back, okay? Season 1 had ended with Marco appearing in the present of 2021 where Allegra is. You know, and it's like, oh my gosh, how did he get there? And he has the bracelet. How did he get it? La da 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 da. You know, because I thought it goes back in time, not forward. That's where it ends, and that's pretty much where season 2 picks up. Again, a few moments before, because we see how Marco escapes the fire of the theater, which I thought that was really clever with the trap door that we saw earlier in season 1. I was like, okay, I see you. We're paying attention to details. So yeah, we see him go to Lucia, which is Allegra's great-grandma. And, you know, I kind of forgot that Allegra had said, you know, if you can't find me, go to Lucia, she'll tell you everything. So he goes to their house and is like, help, what the frick just happened? She floated in magical green mist and then vanished. And Lucia's like, no, you weren't supposed to see that. That part you were not supposed to see. She's like, go away. And Marco's like, I'm not dumb. Where'd she go? So, anyway, Lucia shows Marco the bracelet. He basically forces it upon him because apparently the bracelet chooses who gets to wear it and use it and for what needs and whatnot. But Marco forced it on him, and so the color changed from green to purple. And at first, I thought, oh, purple means future. It goes to the future. But actually, we learned later in this season what purple and green actually mean, which I thought was interesting. And now there's a new color that we find out by the end of this season. Now we have yellow. What does yellow do? We don't know yet. So yeah, he goes forward, goes to 2021. He's like, what is this place? Whatever, I gotta find Laura, because at the time, he still knows her as Laura. And yeah, anyway, eventually finds out through a Google Home that the theater was rebuilt as Sharp Stage. And they put out in production. He shows up. And let me tell you, this season, like season 1 was filmed very good. And like you know, I mean, I felt like it was a mix between like I don't want to say a Disney Channel show, but like not really a sitcom, but like a TV show and a movie in a way, you know? I don't know. It felt pretty like cinematic, more or less, and yet TV, but season 2 definitely felt a lot more cinematic in the way that they filmed it and just everything that went on. And so like when after the opening credits happened, not really opening credits, more like opening title, which I have to say they did great with the opening title. They changed the theme a little bit, you know, added again, made it more cinematic sounding and stuff, and changed the color from green to purple. It was really cool how it did it. After that plays, then it's this whole like cinematic moment, and I think they did it really, really cool where Allegra is just like, what the heck? Like, he's here, but the crowd is going crazy, you know, trying to take pictures with her and trying to talk to her, and she's just like in a daze of like, where is he? Hold up, I gotta go talk to this man that just time traveled. So yeah. Anyway, they eventually find each other, and she's like, what the heck are you doing here? And that's where she's like, I'm Allegra, not Laura, because he's like, Laura. She's like, nope, we're stopping that here, right here, right now. I am Allegra. Do not give away my alias from 1994, thank you. She basically sends Marco off with Felix. Now, that's kind of how it starts. I'm not going to go details on every other episode because we'd be here for 3 hours just talking about it. But basically, the basis of the story, Marco goes to 2021 to be with Allegra. And he doesn't obviously realize what the bracelet does. Allegra is like, you're going to go back and forth between 1994 and here. But once the last knot on the bracelet unties, you're done. You're back in 94. It was nice knowing you. Well, the first time he travels is not back to 1994. He ends up going to 1975. And there he meets young Coco, who is dating his father, which is where we go. That is the first plot twist of this season. Like, excuse me, what? Well, I shouldn't say first plot twist, because the first plot twist was him going to 75. We were like, excuse me? Yeah. So, yeah, he ends up meeting his mom, which was not Coco, y'all. It wasn't Coco. There's a whole story with that. He meets his mom. He meets his dad at a younger age, finds out his dad wants to open this bar, and plans on buying a space for it, and it's going to be this whole, like, musical bar, stage, whatever. Coco kind of goes against him and joins this guy who wants to make her a big star, and they want to open a company together, which ends up being 11 o'clock. But in the end, we learn Coco went against this guy. His name is blanking on me right now, like Paulo or something. Or I think that's the Lizzie McGuire movie. And we end up finding out that this Paulo guy, sorry dude, is actually the cause of the fire for the theater in 1994. Because he got left with nothing with the company and Coco got everything. And so he was like, ha ha ha, no. But he staged it as if it were Coco. Everybody thought it was Thomas, but it ended up, well, he lost the VHS tapes for the quote-unquote proof that it's Coco because Barbara took them originally. And so he was like, oh, I gotta find them, and then I can prove it was Coco, and then I can take over the Sharp stage. It'll be mine. Well, and he was trying to also buy the rights to Light Years, which was the play that the three Sharps made from the stories that Katerina were writing based off of Lucia's stories that she told her as a kid. And they were based off of Lucia's travels with the bracelet. Anyway, Katerina didn't want this at all because he wanted to change stuff in the script, and she was like, no, this is from Grandma's stories that she'd tell me, like I want them to honor her and everything. But Coco was like, this could be a great opportunity. La da 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 da. Anyway, Coco almost gets arrested because of these tapes. That's proof. But Marco, at one point during his travels, does end up going back to 94 one time. And honestly, it's probably one of my favorite episodes of season 2. He goes there and they're having like a birthday party for him, like 2 months after his disappearance and the fire and everything. And let me say, it was like such a great kind of like one more send-off to those characters from season 1, you know, the 1994 versions of characters and stuff. Like, it was a great one-off to kind of like, thank you, goodbye, you know. So, yeah, that was a really fun episode. But Marco ends up being at the theater just in time to hear the conversation of Mr. Paulo, whatever his actual name is, admitting he was the one that did the fire, and he was going to basically stage it as Coco doing it. But I'm trying to think of the dude's name. There was another dude he was talking to at the time, and he was like, honestly, everybody thinks it's Thomas, so you're better off just letting them believe it's Thomas. So he got a tape recording of it, and we learned actually from this season 2, there was a lot of things we learned about the traveling aspects and like how things work. Also, don't mind me, I am poking a hole in this vitamin E because I was told it can help scarring, but like you have to put it on your face, you can't like take it. So I'm just poking a hole to get the juices out. So we learned you can't take anything with you in your travels besides like clothes, you know. So he recorded this tape and then ended up hiding it somewhere for him to find in the future. And he did that with Lucia's journal entries as well, because they were like, oh, Lucia knew a lot more than what she told Allegra, and so what else does she know about the travels? So with the bracelet, the colors, green means that the bracelet basically chose you and that you have something to learn. So green is good. Purple is bad. Purple is basically cursed. Purple is when you defy the bracelet and force it upon you, basically. And so it gives you 12 days to fulfill a mission. And if you don't, then basically something bad happens. But we learned every time someone uses the bracelet, whether green or purple, there is a sacrifice, basically. And I don't mean every time someone like travels, it's just like every time the knots are untied, all the knots are untied of the bracelet. So yeah, so by the end of the season, we find out there are 3 time travel objects. There is a bracelet, there is a cat statue, and there is a beetle necklace. They are all Egyptian type looks. I don't know what else to call them. Marco ends up finding this like case that holds the cat statue, because like he had this like a ringing in his head, and he's like, what is that? And he's like getting closer to it, ends up digging it up. He's like, what the frick is this? When he touches it, all of a sudden it like connects with the bracelet and sends like this magically swirl. And we find out later, because there's 3 time traveling objects, you can connect the 3, and basically if you have all 3, then that is how you and someone else, like, that is how two people basically can travel. You know, that's how someone wearing either the bracelet or the necklace and someone who's not wearing anything can travel. So, all throughout the season, too, we are met with this new character in the present. Her name is Clara, and she is auditioning for Light Years for their new production of it. She auditioned and got a starring role, and she's just super, super excited to be a part of it. Now, you're very sus of her, at least I was, the whole time, and by the end of it, this is the big plot twist of the whole show. So, huge spoiler warning if you haven't gotten to the end. Basically, at the very end of the show, Marco finishes his travels. He's untied the last knot, and we don't know where he's going, because technically, when the magic turns purple, when you defy the bracelet, your present becomes wherever you travel to. Meaning, 2021 should become his present, but we don't know if he technically fulfilled his mission in enough time. We also don't know if he was going back to 1975. We don't know. He starts traveling, and Allegra's like, no, I can't do this again. I'm going with you. Felix knows now the triangle thingy, that you connect all three and you'll be safe. So he's rushing to do it. He has the cat statue, and Marco has the bracelet. They're floating up in the air, whatever, you know, and Felix actually is trying to be like, cut it out, no, Allegra, you can't. And then someone shows up with the beetle necklace and makes the triangle. Anyway, whoa, plot twist, it's Clara. Clara has the beetle necklace. And so they connect the triangle, and poof, Marco and Allegra are gone. We don't know where. We don't know how. There's a lot we don't know. And so then Felix is like, what the frick just happened? Where did they go? Claire's like, I have no idea. Felix is like, you know what? We don't actually know anything about you. Who the heck are you? And Claire's like, I am Clara Sharp. I am Allegra's daughter. Plot twist. End of the season. Ooh, so ready for season 3 now. So this season is definitely much more about Marco. We learn a lot of his past, and we learn his mom died when he was young. I have a theory. So in the final episode of season 2, Marco again goes back to 1975, but 6 months after the last time he had visited, and his mother is pregnant with him. I have this theory that because every time someone travels, sacrifice is basically made. I have this theory that Marco, like, his sacrifice is actually his mom. He ended up killing his mom by accident, you know, no intentions, because we also learned in the first season, every time someone travels, they're not actually changing history, they're just living it. So technically, Marco has always traveled back to 1975, but also gone to 2021. It's a little confusing. There's one plot hole that I feel like never got resolved, and it's kind of very minor, but they wanted to write a big finale song for Light Years, and they asked Marco to compose the music for it. And Allegra snuck pictures of her mom's lyrics that she was working on so Allegra and Marco could start to, you know, come up with the melody and work around with the lyrics and stuff. And that, like, never got mentioned. It was because, like, it was this whole scene of her sneaking it out of her bag and taking pictures of it and taking it to Marco. There was, like, no repercussions of that. It was just, like, cool. And when they played it for Coco and Katerina, they were just like, great. Not even gonna ask where he got the lyrics. That's my one plot hole of this season. So yeah, this season actually gets pretty emotional because again, it's more about Marco, and he learns about his dad, and like that his dad had this whole dream, but everything's been ripped away from him. You know, Marco's dad's dad never really approved of him and his dream and everything, so he kind of had to fall into just something to make it work. And then he really liked Coco, but Coco said, "Peace out, my dude." And so he kind of was envious of her, you know, and because she made her dreams become real and stuff. And then he ended up, you know, marrying Marco's mother, and then she died, and so he went through a loss of that. And then, you know, eventually Marco went missing, and so, you know, Marco kind of sees this progression of his father just losing everything he's ever had. So by the time he sees his dad in 2021, he tries to spend time with his dad, obviously as like this persona, this different person, but tries to have like this father-son time with him, you know, like going fishing and just asking about his life and whatever and his dreams. Okay, see, y'all, this, I want to cut this. Just like, goodbye. Would it be bad for me to just like grab scissors and cut it? Because I'm about to. So, the one time he went to 94, Marco recorded a little cassette tape for him, a little message just as like a goodbye to his father and like thank you for being the best father you ever were. You know, basically it was like, I see now. You were trying your best and we just didn't see eye to eye and stuff, you know, and that's why we went through our fight that we did and everything. But like I don't and you know, I'm not mad at you or anything, like I still love you, blah 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 blah. Really emotional scene. And Marco's song of the season, I guess we could say, it's pronounced Ajavoy, I believe. We learn that his mom had the lyrics for the song, but Marco had the melody, and you know, so Marco's playing it in 75, and his mom is like, "Oh, what is that?" However, and he's like, "Oh, it's just something my mom used to always play me." And then his mom, you know, like sings the lyrics to the melody, the lyrics that she came up with and stuff. Anyway, it's this whole thing of like Marco gave his mom the tune to the song that she came up with that she eventually teaches him. It's crazy. This show is like mind-bending sometimes. So I'm doing a little trim up. So overall, I really, really enjoyed this season. I don't know if I can say which season I prefer. You know, if I like this season more than season 1. I felt very satisfied from this season, just meaning like all the questions and stuff that I thought of and whatever throughout season 1 was really answered in season 2. Like there was a lot that I was like, when the first time I watched season 2 was with my friend Whitney, and I was like telling her, I'm like, okay, I thought about this and whatever in season 1. Let's see if they answer it. And then they did, and I was like, look at them go. They're paying attention. My other question though is, whenever Marco went to 1975, the aspect ratio always changed, and like that was kind of never like explained in any way, and I didn't really understand it. Was it just to make it more cinematic? I don't know, because like that never happened when they were in 94, you know, last season or this season, the one time that they went. So I don't know what the aspect ratio change was necessarily for, but that's just me and my camera, you know, brain. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed this season. I do wish, again, there were more episodes, and I wish there were more songs. The score for this season is so much more cinematic and so intense. Like, this season, I feel like, got intense, like, especially towards the end of the last episode. I was just like the whole time, like, what is going to happen? Anything could happen at this point, because it's like we had learned so much now that it was just like, anything could happen. Anything could happen. What you gonna throw at us? I never once while watching, had the thought of like, oh, I wonder if Clara is Allegra's daughter. My thing was, I was like, there's a lot of parallels happening, because I was like, Clara is like how Allegra was in season 1 in '94, being like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited, I love this company, I want to join, but it never specifically crossed my mind of like, Clara might be Allegra's daughter. So when that line was said, I was like, excuse me, what? So now we have so many new questions going into season 3. Where did Allegra and Marco go? What year? They go to the future, they go to the past. Where? How did Clara find the necklace and get to 2021? How, does Allegra in the future know Clara is coming to the past, to 2021? And like, how does the necklace work? Because the bracelet, you have the knots, and once the last knot unties, you're done. So how does the necklace work? Like, how do you know when you're done traveling with the necklace? Also, what does the cat do? The cat statue, besides help join this triangle formation, what does the cat do? Just kind of, is it just like the middle ground of it? Don't know. Also, where did all these come from? And how did Lucien know there was a necklace and a cat statue besides the bracelet? And what does yellow mean? Because the necklace uses yellow. Clara her magicalness was yellow. And the yellow formed too when they were making the triangle. What does yellow mean? Questions. So many questions. Overall, really, really love this season. We need a season 3. I'm holding out for season 3. We're probably going to have to wait so long again. It's fine. I recommend everybody go watch it. Seriously, go watch Intertwined, Disney Plus. So good. One of my absolute favorite shows, honestly. I think it's becoming another one of my comfort shows, to be honest. But it is so good, and I recommend it to everybody. And yeah, there's just kind of my spiel on it. I really, really loved it. I hope you guys like this video. It's kind of different for me. Kind of a get ready with me while I talk about season 2 of Intertwined. If there's any other types of videos surrounding Disney's Intertwined you'd like me to do, let me know in the comments below. Also, share all of your thoughts about Intertwined, whether it be season 1, season 2, just the show in general. Leave them in the comments below. I'd love to talk to y'all about it. If you have not watched it and you made it all the way through, okay, good for you. Go watch it and then come back. I think that's going to do it. I think for the most part I'm ready. I need to go get dressed. And I have an itchy eye suddenly. Anyways, guys, thank you all for watching. If you liked it, hit the like button. It helps me out a ton. If you guys are new, press subscribe so you don't miss out on all the future content that I do. And if you're not following my socials, links to those are in the description down below for easy access to you. That's going to do it. Thank you all for hanging out with me, chilling with me, listening to me rambling about Intertwined. And yeah, so until the next one, I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye.